The Rough Country intake that we have here will be one of the most affordable options for owners of 2015 through 2020 F-150s who would prefer to go with a stealthy black finish along with a high flow oiled filter at a rock bottom price point. Now the Rough Country will not require the use of any tuning whatsoever and can be had for right around that mid $100 price point. Install for this option, we'll get a pretty soft 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Take about an hour at most to complete from start to finish, but as always guys, hang with me for a bit and we'll walk you through this job later in the video. So Rough Country has really expanded their catalog over the years and now offer parts for nearly every area of your truck or Jeep. And most of them, at the end of the day, let's be honest, are gonna be very affordable when compared to some of your other options in any given category. Now, the category we're talking about here today, of course, is the intake category, and you can find stuff for as low as 150, 160 bucks, like the Rough Country that we're talking about here on the table, all the way up to $600, $700 or more with some of your fancier AFE or K&N options. So again, you have a very wide spectrum of pricing to keep in mind when shopping for an intake. Now, the one thing you will notice with some of your more expensive options is that they usually include a more elaborate sealed airbox design that's gonna completely replace all of your factory hardware. That's not the case here with the Rough Country. Instead, this particular intake is going to give you the upper portion of the airbox here, which is going to be used in conjunction with the lower portion of your factory airbox. And that's actually something I really like because you're going to maintain all of the factory engineered fresh air ducting that'll basically pull all that fresh, cool air from the front of your truck and dump it directly onto the filter here. Now, it's not a sealed enclosure, so therefore you will run the risk of some higher intake air temperatures at idle, in traffic, and so forth. But the flip side of that, again, will be the nice angry growl coming from the 5-liter truck under hard acceleration. Now, speaking of your filter here, guys, again, you are getting a high flow reusable oiled option. Typically, those oiled options will flow a little bit better than a dry option. The only downside to an oiled is that it does increase the maintenance a little bit here. Basically cleaning this thing off, re-oiling it. It's not that difficult, you just need to use caution not to over-oil the filter itself. Those dry filters, on the other hand, listen, they're not gonna be able to be washed like an oiled filter option will. Instead, you can really only blow them off with some compressed air, and that's pretty much it. So at the end of the day, these guys will flow a little bit better, they're gonna last you a little bit longer, but there is a little bit more maintenance involved compared to a dry option. Switching gears to talk about our intake tube here, guys, you're looking at a powder-coated aluminum option in black, which I think is gonna lend itself to a slightly stealthier appearance underneath the hood. Now, you can, if you like, find affordable chrome or polished options here on the site if you do prefer a little bit more flash. But if you're like me and you're kind of a less is more truck owner, I think the wrinkle black options such as this are definitely the way to roll. Last but not least, guys, we have to talk about the features outside of appearance, of course. And the big expectation with something like this will be a little bit more power, right? Now, Rough Country doesn't give us any exact dyno numbers with this kit, but it's been my experience with something like this, no tune required intakes. Typically, you're looking at high single digit, low double digit gains with the intake itself. Now, outside of gains, you are looking at things like improved throttle response on top of that added growl we talked about earlier, which I think is always one of the coolest things with installing something like this. Not a lot of people expect the added volume coming from under the hood, but it should be noted here, especially with the exposed filter design like this. But now we want to shift gears and talk a little bit more about the install. And honestly, guys, if this is the first modification you've ever attempted on your F-150 at home, don't worry, it's one of the easiest mods you'll ever tackle. But to give you a better idea of just how this job will go down and what you need to knock it out, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown right now.
Tools for this install: an electric ratchet or ratchet, 8mm deep socket, 13mm deep socket, 13mm shallow socket, 4mm Allen wrench, flathead screwdriver, scissors, and a trim removal tool. We're going to start at the front at the cold air inlet. Grab your trim removal tool and we'll get the pop clips taken out of that. Go ahead and grab your 13 millimeter socket and remove the bolt on the side of the cold air intake. Go ahead and grab a flathead screwdriver and take off the clamp located at the throttle body. Once you have that loose enough, go ahead and remove the hose from the top of the intake tube, and we'll disconnect the breather lines. Go ahead and get the intake tube off of the throttle body. With the intake tube now removed from the throttle body, we can fully take out the cold air intake, working it underneath the hosing that we took off earlier. With the stock airbox now removed from the truck, we will be reusing the bottom half of the airbox, so go ahead and undo these clamps located at the front near the inlet, and remove the top portion as well as the filter. With the stock filter now removed, we're going to go ahead and pre-assemble our rough country by taking the top portion of the rough country where we're going to place our filter and getting that put on top of the airbox and clamping that down. With the shield now in place, we're going to go ahead and take the filter adapter, get that bolted down. Using the provided 6 millimeter by 16, we're going to grab a flat washer as well as a lock washer and hand thread those in for now. We will tighten that back up with a 4 millimeter Allen wrench. With the filter adapter now in place, go ahead and take the kit provided clamp and get that placed over the filter. And using a 7 millimeter socket, we're going to go ahead and tighten the band clamp. We're going to get the weather stripping on top of the box. Now it is going to be a tight fit. It is to seal the top of the box against the hood. So it is going to be a bit of a struggle. And we're going to do that along the remaining sides. With your weather stripping now in place, go ahead and drop your intake box into the original place. Go ahead and hand thread the bolt that we removed earlier. and grab a 13 millimeter shallow socket this time. And we'll get that tightened down. Go ahead and take the rubber adapter for the intake tube and get that over your filter. And we'll go ahead and grab our 8 millimeter socket and get that band clamp. Tighten it down. Grab another band clamp and we'll get that placed over the back end. Grab your intake tube, get that placed in to your air filter. Get the throttle body portion lined up and using a couple of band clamps also provided in the kit, get those tightened down. Get the band clamp tightened at the back of the air filter. Then we'll get the 2 pop clips placed back into the inlet, and we are all done. Don't forget to plug in your breather tubes. With your breather tubes now reconnected, that's going to wrap it up for this review and install of the Rough Country Cold Air Intake fitting the 15 to 20 5.0 F-150. For more cool videos just like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button at AmericanTrucks.com.